You've yet to be in office a year.
Oh, Meghan.
That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock, it's the semi-final of the quotation game, and it's a nail-biting quiz tonight as a team of nuclear physicists take on 4 old ladies from East Grinching. That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its importance during the Great Blackouts of 1871. Not one to miss. At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom of Being Colin, taking us all the way up to 11:15, where, as usual, Dr. Adrian Atkinson-Blimey will be grilling his guests in Incisors, and tonight sees a return for leading economist Katie Brightman. Finally, at midnight, it's the National Weather Report, before we say good night until tomorrow. But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for the National Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight. Moving on up, the election win that experts said just couldn't happen. Hopeful or hostile? Controversy as global megacorporation Remington's Fist buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Top chap. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Meghan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic victory. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News. But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide victory, with an astonishing 81% of the popular vote, is the biggest election win in living memory. Advance appealed to voters up and down the country with their bold promises of permanent change, but critics have accused him of a severe lack of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary Geoffrey Jeffreys has issued a statement in which he comments that "We have all been seduced by the shiny wrapping paper, but have yet to see the contents of the box." Sounds like sour grapes to me, Jeff. After the break, Megan Wolfe will be speaking to a man whose grapes certainly aren't sour, the international heartthrob and inexplicable box office sensation that is Lawrence Blunderclatch. And later in the programme, we'll be going live to Advance HQ to hear the co-leader's acceptance speech. That's all coming up after the break.
Welcome to Crazy Neil's crazy pre-Christmas sofa and chair deals. It's a steal with Crazy Neil. We don't care if you've been naughty or nice. We got green sofas, red sofas, brown cushions, pink cushions. You've got a grey sofa. We've got a great sofa. In a grey, a brown, a pink, a yellow, a purple. Neil's deals are unreal. You've got people coming over at Christmas. You've got an aunt. She's going to leave a stain on the sofa. You don't want her sitting on this white sofa. She's going to have to sit on the dark sofa. This is a deal with Neil Appeal. You want to throw your money at us? We'll give you a leather sofa for a price that is just crazy. If you've got lightning striking, then strike whilst the lightning is hot. You've got a disused sofa. We don't care if it's smelly, stuck in front of your telly, full of welly. We'll take that shit away. Don't make a meal out of it, make a deal out of it. We got a big ass deal on a big ass chair. We've got white chairs, blue chairs, stools, inflatable chairs. This is a crazy deal with meal appeal. You don't want no lame ass chair, you want a great chair. We had a man come down the other day and he brought in his young daughter and he wanted her to have the best chair. We got those chairs, we got more of those chairs. We got tall chairs, chairs on wheels, wheelchairs. We got chairs for twins, chairs made out of steel, chairs that are a steal and a deal. We got those chairs. You want crazy? We got crazy. Crazy Neil's got crazy deals. You want a toilet? We can do you a toilet. We can do you a toilet next to a chair. We can do you a chair next to a toilet. Hell, we can even do you a toilet chair. So you come on down, you bring your ass, we got it, you want it. You want it, we've got it, you want it. You pay us. You want it, we've got it, you want it. You want it, we've got it, you pay us.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance, but first our very own culture reporter Megan Wolfe is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolfe, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare to the Shotbot films. I'm very excited to be joined today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among the greatest joys of my life.
May I say having you here with us is among ours.
Bless you.
So you've just finished filming your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The Medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Wrap, that's Peter Jensen, the director. Do you know him? He's a wonderful chap, he really is. I've worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And do you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that that was the true story of one soldier's fight for a love that surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
Oh, that is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding, giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire, the little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, that one should always strive to not f*** up.
Yes, well...
Sorry, I said fuck. I'm really apologize.
Well,
Sorry.
Lawrence, I believe you brought in a clip from The Medicated, which opens next week around the country. Lawrence, do tell us what's going on here.
I'd be delighted. This is a really pivotal scene where my character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Wow, exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
not your fault.
You think I don't know that?
Nolans mustn't think of Carol.
That's Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan. I did it for you, baby. All for you.
Dr. Hemlock.
We're gonna change the world, do you remember? If only I'd listened to you.
Dr. Hemlock.
You told me, but I didn't listen.
Doctor.
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
You need to see this.
No, it's all too late.
Look at this!
The virus. The sterility. This formula. This is the key.
We could stop it all.
Yes, we could stop it all. We have to ask ourselves if we should.
Hi, I'm world-class sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves, and I'm not fat, but you are. Don't worry, ladies. Now you can have me, Johnny Hamsleeve, right there in your lounge.
Johnny!
Match day, happy day. Me and the lads are playing away. I'll take you through a proper match day workout with my two cracking assistants. Who knows, within a few weeks, you could be as fit as them. What a day, in the coach cruising down the motorway. Match day, Saturday, finished with the handshakes and we're ready to play. Did you know that fat people are less likely to laugh, marry or live past the age of 26? These potentially true statistics are all terrifying reasons why you need to pop a bit of Johnny in your VHS slot. Every exercise is recommended by sports professionals and is 72% likely to get rid of those tricky tummies and cruel cellulite.
Get match fit!
With Johnny Hamsleeves. Hair dryer treatment.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance headquarters where the two leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Shall I start?
Go for it, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day!
They said we couldn't do it.
They certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying southern prick they had against us, but you, the people, you saw right through their
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. Makes me coarser than a granny's
Memorably put. But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating? Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. A party is what you have when things are going well. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party. You need a team that can change things. But today is day one of a new future, a better, fairer future. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not inaccurate. Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of, probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before the election? That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a nation of warring individuals into a team. To properly fund health and education. To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret. So to you posh
people who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs, the people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
It ends today.
We are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been, in the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again, just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance, and our apologies for the fruity language. Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
I'm Alan James. This is not a movie. This is not some child's tale. This is not a dream. This is reality. This is the story of you and how you're stupid and asleep. It's about how you were promised the Elysian fields, but you ended up filleting Satan for the salty crumbs. It's happening here. It's happening now. And it's all happening right in front of you. I'm Alan James.
Alan James is one of the country's most controversial columnists and speakers.
And they're going to take your poor sweet grandma, and you're never going to see those drivelling dentures again. Oh, grandma, look at their faces. That's not what cows look like. You call it the stock market. I call it the stuck market, because it's just another pole they've stuck up our collective... I don't care if he was once your nephew, Cameron. He's standing in the way of the truth!
Now, Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, is coming to your city.
I'm Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, the gospel according to Alan James, and the Alan James shall set you free. And now I'm bringing my message directly to you, with my new nationwide tour, Alan James is Right, in front of you.
Alan James.
I'm Alan James.
Alan James.
Alan James is right.
Alan James.
I'm Alan James.
Coming to a city near you. Check local press for dates and times.
That's the job, reminding us just how our new Prime Minister became so popular in the first place. Following that, at 9 p.m, Megan Wolfe sits down for an exclusive interview with former Prime Minister Jacob Hamilton-Mann in Truth to Power, and she'll be asking him where it all went so horribly wrong. I'll certainly be tuning in for that. Finally tonight, at 10 p.m, it's a bit of escapism, with Lawrence Blunderclatch's acclaimed action movie, Bullet Man, taking us up to the National Weather Report and close down at midnight. But before all that, it's time to go over to Jeremy Donaldson for tonight's National Nightly News.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask exactly who's leading this charge. Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the country's wealth creators in a state of panic and unfavourable rumblings already heard from overseas, I'll be asking my guess whether Advance can deliver on even a fraction of their manifesto promises. Out with the old, Remington's Fist have appointed Sophia Remington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from our archive, gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO in history. Sophia Remington's appointment is a risk for the giant mega corporation. Sophia, as our regular viewers will be aware, has always been a wild child and has been romantically linked to several movie stars and sports personalities. In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehugs. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. Making a splash, intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Swarsborgen-Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's taint. The recently discovered cave system was previously thought unreachable, but thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater flower technology, the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains. This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might face, the pair stated, "We will face the plentiful challenges together like we always have." Playing the field, rumours abound as sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And Griever's bodily charm. With advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police, and less oversight, are we using an advanced-shaped sledgehammer to crack a nut? All that, and Megan Wolf with a group of young actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand. They'll be talking and performing later. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News. In the wake of the government's swift enactment of the Assets and Wealth Act, we're talking about Advance's first week in office and what the new future holds. Joining me are Katie Brightman, a leading economist, and Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, The Free Man's Guide to Waking Up. Alan, the government certainly haven't dragged their heels on delivering some of the legislation they promised. But what does the Wealth Act mean for us?
Nothing, Jeremy. We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
A confident dismissal there. Katie Brightman, do you agree?
I'm afraid I don't, no. I think that Advance have realised that the current economic system of unlimited, unending growth is untenable, so they're changing things up.
There I agree with you. They're moving to the next steps in the grand plan.
Grand plan, Alan?
It's all in my book. Alan James is Right, Jeremy. We're to become the great herd, ignorant, sterile and short-lived. That's what they want.
Or perhaps Advance have just realised that if we carry on the way we are, we will destroy ourselves and this planet in a mad orgy of consumption, if you'll excuse the colourful metaphor.
Yes, orgy is the right word. Only it'll be the overlords having an orgy on our poor broken backs. It's all in my book. Alan James is...
Shamelessly self-promoting? Katie, how do you think the rest of the world will respond to this new approach?
I think they're watching carefully. Advance are the most disruptive threat that the world powers have faced since the last Great War.
Yes, Katie's right. War is inevitable.
Thank you, but that isn't
And this will not be a war like we've ever seen before. We're talking millions of deaths. We're talking high-tech weapons that can level entire cities. We're talking...
Out of the wrong orifices?
Mock me all you like, Jeremy, but when they murder your parents and they poison your food and they take you away to their camps for hypno-brainwashing, who will be laughing then?
That might be a great way to sell books, Alan, but you know full well that isn't going to happen in a democracy.
Democracy is dead.
Yes, Advance are radical, and change is always frightening, but the truth is that the Wealth and Assets Act has made more than 90% of the population wealthier and is on target to produce a permanent...
Bollocks! What this young lady doesn't understand, Jeremy, is that these are the same people. Maybe they've rebranded, but it's all a little circus act to keep us from seeing the tyrant behind the curtain.
That's where you're wrong, Alan. For a start, they've mobilised the youth vote like we've never seen before.
You say mobilise, I call it grooming. The grooming of an entire generation to walk happily into eternal bondage. They're like psychic paedophiles.
But based on the facts, Katie, what are your predictions?
The Assets and Wealth Act is only the first step. Advance now have a historic budgetary surplus, and as well as properly funding our public services, they're already funneling unprecedented amounts into scientific research and the arts.
Or, as I call them in my book, Frankenscience and opiates. Like opiates, see?
Can we get back to the issue at hand, please, Alan?
This is the issue. It's all coming from the water, the chemicals. They're pumping it full of belief juice.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see these changes, but only if they're sustainable. If Advance lose their power after spending half of our GDP on dismantling infrastructure, that could be catastrophic.
The catastrophe is that they're succeeding. They've got us sat here talking about their puppet show.
All right, we're running out of time. Quickly, Alan, what does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomised into submission.
Oh, of course. Katie?
We might be on the eve of a brave new world. God knows we need some change, but we need to be cautious. Let's walk forwards with our eyes open.
Two very different visions of the future there. Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. When we come back, I'll be investigating law and order before Megan meets some beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act. That's
Kids, you love them, we love them, and they just love
Mr. Snugglehugs! Yeah!
with his state-of-the-art human-like voice to keep them company when you can't.
If you keep me happy, I'll keep you safe.
And his incredible real-action eyes.
I hope your mummy and daddy don't die in a fire. That would be bad.
It's no wonder Mr. Snugglehugs is the gift your child wants this Christmas.
All the other kids have got one.
That's right, little one. You don't want to be left out.
I only like people who have me as their friend.
Oh, Mr. Snugglehugs, you're so silly. Mr. Snugglehugs in stores now and selling out fast.
Welcome. In our second segment, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the state of law and order in our country. Advance have already tasked what they are calling a solutions team to move this serious social problem to the top of the list. Tonight, we go behind the headlines to meet the people who live with the criminal justice system every day of their lives. First up, we have Gregory Judge, a lawyer who sees the problems close up on the front line. Can you hear me, Gregory?
Yes, I've got you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
What's it like on the front line of the hard face of the cold hand of justice?
Well, as you can imagine, Jeremy, we are massively understaffed in this country. We're working every hour we can just to try and cope with the caseloads on our desks.
Which must affect the quality of support you can offer.
Well, we can barely keep up with demand, Jeremy. There just simply isn't enough being done at a systemic level to relieve the problem.
Greg?
We need more support from ministers. Helen, what are you doing? We need change at a structural level,
I'm
Jeremy.
leaving, Greg.
Not a good time, darling.
It never is it? I'll be at my mother's.
Just hang on. The problem isn't a local one, Jeremy. It's nationwide. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson.
Oh, have you mentioned your affairs?
No. Well, the affairs of the Justice Department that we should be concerned about.
Hello, Mr. Donaldson.
Hello, Mrs. Judge.
We need legislation to relieve the pressure on our public
Sorry
servants.
to interrupt the news, Mr. Donaldson. Can I have a moment to tell my husband I'm leaving him?
Yes, I totally understand. Quite the picture of a burdened legal sector there. Gregory Judge, thank you for joining us. Next, I'm joined by Police Chief Constable Bob Peel, a man with a very different perspective on our nation's crime. Do you think there's a problem with the system, Bob?
I'm sure we all do, Jeremy. I'm sure we all long for a return to the days when you could safely walk the streets of your community at night, looking in through windows and generally enjoying your neighbours without the risk of being terrorised by some thug with a knife. or kosh.
So you feel the streets simply aren't safe anymore? Where have we gone wrong, Bob?
Well, that's not a simple question, Jeremy, but I think it all comes down to moral decay. We've diluted our culture and lost touch with what it means to be a citizen of this once great country. Also, as the vicar noted in Sunday's sermon, we probably shouldn't have banned hanging.
And to what do you attribute this moral decay?
Foreigners, gays and gypsies mainly. It's all in the Bible. Look, Leviticus clearly states that... Oh, by moment. Jeremy, a bloody gimp's escaped. Delia, could you give me a little help, please, dear? As I was saying, Jesus didn't like immigrants much, did he?
And just to be clear, you think it's the immigrants who are responsible for the moral decay?
Absolutely, Jeremy. Back in your box, Clive. Back in your box. Delia, I really could use a little help with this.
Oh, sorry, darling. I was spaying the badgers.
Yes, I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson. Clive, could you put him back in his box?
Oh, Clive, you know it's Wednesday. Back you go. Back in your gimp space.
And
off you go.
whose responsibility is it to make a change, Bob?
Well, it is certainly not the responsibility of the decent, good, white people
Darling,
of this...
where's the padlock?
Oh, hold on just a moment.
Oh, Clive, this simply won't do. Naughty, naughty, naughty boy. Mummy said...
Clive, I am not having this again.
Mummy said get back in your gimp space. No! Naughty! You beast, Clive!
As I was saying, Jeremy, moral decay. Crime is the responsibility of the criminal, no one else. Look, everyone has a sob story, but we don't all end up as barbarians, do we? Look, when our daughter Alice comes home with an A-, does she go on a killing spree? No, she takes 3 of her pills and hides under the stairs like a normal child.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Peel there, really locking down the police's position on morality for us. And finally tonight, hopefully uninterrupted, it's time to get to the heart of the matter. Tony Dawson has recently been released from prison after serving 3 years for aggravated assault, burglary and menacing a swan. He's agreed to talk to us today, which is also, I believe, his birthday. Many happy returns, Tony.
Cheers, Jez. Call me Titwa. Everybody else does.
No, I'm not going to be doing that. Can you tell us what it's like in prison, Tony?
Titwa. Well, prison's a mixed bag. Structure's quite nice, but it's a constant battle against institutionalisation, as you can imagine. And obviously, Titwa hard to come by.
I'm picking up that you're not alone there, Tony.
Titwa. Yeah, sorry, my friends are throwing me a surprise party. Good bunch of lads.
OK, well, we're trying to let you get back to that party as soon as possible. First, let me ask you this. Do you feel that your time spent in prison helped to rehabilitate you in any way, Tony?
Tony! Way! I don't think it's as easy as that, Jez.
Sopen!
Yeah, I think asking that is an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's getting quite busy there, Tony, but let's try and soldier on. Since leaving custody, have you been able to find a new job?
Yeah, all the boys are here. There's Big Chris,
oi, oi.
Little Chris,
oi, oi.
And Vampire Chris.
This one's, yeah?
Yep.
One sec, love. On the news. Rehabilitation's difficult with the current system, Jez. It's just not set up for it, you know? It's inherently unjust.
Sopen!
So, do you feel tempted to... I'm sorry, who's this?
Sopen!
You are joking. Chrissy Free got Mr. Fancy, oh? Not now, fellas. I'm on the news.
It seems like we've caught you at a bad time.
For the little boy.
Oh, I can't really hear you, mate. It's getting a bit busy here. Jesus.
Yes, we seem to be losing the signal here, Tony.
Hey, lads, believe that!
Well, we're just trying to get that signal back. I think we... Yes, Tony? Tony, I mean, we're literally away for 2 seconds. How does this happen, Tony? Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our train of thought. You, the viewer at home, have managed to glean a broader understanding of the serious and complex issues around law and order. After the break, Megan will be live with some plucky young thespians. Don't go away.
Our children are our future. Advance knows this, and we're here to help. The new Advance Go-Getters initiative will ensure that every young person enjoys the abundance of benefits that only a true community can provide, while keeping us informed of all the ups and downs to help make things even better. With a vast range of activities available, building the nation's future has never been so rewarding. With the Go-Getters, you can be sure that your children will be well equipped in the march towards progress. After all, there's nothing better than moving forwards. The Advanced Go-Getters. Forwards, together.
Welcome's Black, I'm Megan Wolfe, and on tonight's Culture Spot, I'll be chatting with one of the first beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act, a team of inspiring young people from Scritchford Sixth Form College who today received a grant from Advance to take their play, Hey, Friendship, on a tour of local secondary schools. Welcome to you all. Well, let's start with you two, Harriet and Charlotte Winstanley-Hamilton. Girls, you must be thrilled.
We are, Megan. We're overwhelmed, to be honest.
And I believe you two are sisters, is that right?
Yes, Charlotte's my oldest. I'm the older, more popular one. Only joking.
Harriet and Trey were really the ones who came up with the whole idea.
So, Harry and I were shooting the breeze in the cafeteria and I said, hey, let's actually do something.
So I went to look for a drama teacher.
But she'd been laid off due to budget cuts. Fortunately, I directed a pantomime when I was at university, so I knew the ropes, as it were.
Oh, right, yes, but you're the maths teacher, aren't you?
Yes, that's me, Jeff Algebra, maths teacher.
Maths is really important.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
As is theatre. It's one of the oldest art forms in history. Aristotle believed
I just think that when we travel around all these problem schools and the poor kids see us, they say, hey, I really want to be like those attractive kids. It's a very beautiful and powerful thing. We touch our audiences and they touch us right back.
I suppose with a surname like Algebra, there was really only one choice of career for me. My wife, Angela, and I, we often laugh about it.
Angela Algebra.
Yes.
We just want to bring a bit of song and joy into people's lives.
And teach people about the difficult issues. The issues in the play are what really matter.
And I think you're going to be showing us an extract from this play, aren't you?
Yeah. That's right. To put into context, I play a young first year who's having some troubles at school.
Her character doesn't actually have a name, yeah, because in a way she's like all of us.
It's like a metaphor. Maybe she's you at home, or like, maybe she's you, Megan.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Put it in, coach.
Yes, thanks, Steve.
Right, well, I'm going to have a little chat with your teacher while you run off and get ready. I can't wait to see it. That's it, that way. So, Jeff, when did you first hear about the grant?
2 days ago. A letter from Advance arrived at the school. Now, the headmaster thought it was all a prank, but his secretary retrieved it from his bin and brought it to me.
Wow, how did you react?
I also threw it in the bin. But then Harriet and Trey rescued it, and they rang the number at the bottom of the page, and next thing you know, we're on tour.
Wow. Well, I think we can all guess which way you'll be voting from now on.
Do you know what? It's funny, because Angela and I don't usually vote. We're not very political. I'm a mathematician, of course, and she's a paraplegic, mainly. But we did used to watch that Peter Clements DIY show back in the day, and so we thought, why not? Let's have a go with this old democracy thing.
Okay.
And here we ballywell are.
Good.
Brilliant.
So, let's have a look at a short section of Hey, Friendship.
Dear Diary, I'm not sure I can take another day at this school. Another day of tears.
Tears.
Another day of fears.
Fears.
But still I walk the corridors alone. Alone. Dreading what might be around every corner.
What's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner?
Oh, hi, Gary.
Oh, heavens, no! It's Gary the Fist!
Gary the Fist! Going somewhere, little first year?
Great. I've been looking for some poor victim to bully all morning. But will this make me feel better about my violent father?
Violent father. Excuse me, I'm late for maths. It's my favourite subject. And so important.
Maths is for losers.
What?
Maths is for losers.
My arm's stuck, coach.
Keep going for
Right, maths is for losers. Now, give me your lunch money.
Double lunch for me today, but why am I only truly happy when I'm eating?
Not today, Gary the Fist.
What do you mean not today? Who are you? Oh, my arm's free, coach.
Brilliant, keep going.
Right, who are you to stand up to me? I'm Gary the Fist, and you're just a sad little girl with 2 gay dads who's all alone.
That's where you're wrong, Gary the Fist. These are my 2 new friends. Vanessa is captain of the netball team.
Yeah.
And Blake owns a motorbike.
Yeah.
But I can't fight all 3 of you, and I don't have any friends of my own.
Take a look at me. Take a little look at my face. I could be you. She could be you. And you could be me.
Or you could be me.
Life can be peachy keen if you work as a team.
It's my choice to be mean. So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Hey, listen up, I won't take no crap. Who said middle class girls can't rap? I ain't afraid of your cruel lads. I'm a mother-loving rebel, but I still love maths.
Hey, kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist. I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum for dinner, he had to wait. Where's my dinner, woman?
It's not ready.
Where's my dinner, woman?
Go.
Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women is wrong.
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate. 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 It's so damn hard on a council estate.
Life can be peachy keen.
Yeah.
If you work as a team.
Just work as a team.
It's your choice to be me.
It's my choice.
So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Friendship!
Yes! Oh.
Well, thankfully that's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. Join us tomorrow night for all the headlines from across the country. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
Visit Crazy Neil's Festive Yuletide Ornament Spectacular! So you've got the best Christmas tree that your money can buy, and you want to put on it some crazy-ass Christmas ornaments. We want to give you a spectacular Christmas cactus. You know what it's like? You've run out of things to dress up, and you want your house to look like a Christmas bomb has hit it, then we've got the ornaments for you. You want something like vases, or vases, or another cactus to go with your first cactus, or this, a crazy Christmas frog, or a toad, woodpeckers, a cool pineapple, a duck, Christmas elephant. We've got all the seasonal animals. Crazy Neil's crazy deals. This is a clear out of the storage locker that second Mrs. Neil abandoned, like she abandoned her children. It's a rainbow of crazy fun. Don't be a prick and get yourself quick. Grab yourself a crazy deal with Neil Appeal.
thrills of this spectacularly popular new sport. That's followed by a repeat of the live National Sports Board final at 7:30 p.m. and again at 8:15 p.m, 9 p.m, and 9:45 p.m. At 10:30, it's a world premiere of Channel 1's television adaptation of smash hit schools musical Hey, Friendship, a touching and relevant tale of a 13-year-old girl from a modern family trying to adapt to the horrors of life in the old school system. It's another chance to view the Sports Board final at 11:45 before the weather and close down at midnight. But first, it's time for the National Nightly News with Jeremy Donaldson and Megan.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolfe. Our main stories tonight.
Uncooperative. A mysterious symbol has appeared overnight on thousands of buildings throughout the capital.
Tonight, in an exclusive live interview with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, I'll be asking what this mysterious symbol might mean.
After 3 months of record-breaking approval ratings, could this be the daring first move of a silent resistance movement? And what would that mean as we go into the future?
We shall overcome. Trapped in Dante's taint for more than a month now, doctors Ingrid Svorsborg and Horgensvoord and David Wong announced today that they're considering 2 possible options.
With 2 of the finest minds in science working together, hopes are still high for the eventual return of the team to dry land.
Without enough engineers to successfully fix their craft, the team seem likely to attempt to farm the cavern's ecosystem while they wait for rescue from above ground. I think I'll stick to risotto, Jeremy.
Bearing their opinions, the formerly rich are fighting back with a naked protest.
Our very own Robin Short was on hand earlier today when this new protest group first presented themselves.
It might seem amusing to us, but clearly this formerly overprivileged section of our society is not adjusting well to the new future. It's often too easy to forget that not every citizen is thriving under Advance.
Fallen angel? Notorious addict Johnny Hamsleeve seems to have reached a new low in his battle with booze, as this recent picture reveals.
Johnny's star certainly lacks its former glow these days, with public concern over his mental and physical health growing at an alarming rate.
Let's hope that the team at the Gentle Touches Rehabilitation Centre can help Johnny get back to his former glory. Johnny's family have asked for privacy during this difficult time. We'll have reporters at the clinic around the clock, so you don't...
Is his once celebrated role model about to become the bad boy of sports?
And radical ideas. In an attempt to put the Mr. Snugglehugs disaster behind them, Rimington's Fist CEO Sophia Rimington today announced a surprising new project that already has the markets raising an eyebrow.
Known for taking risks and bold strategies, could the adventurous CEO be leading the business giant down a dark alley or taking it to a new level of success?
We understand the Mobile Orientation Operational Borrowing Service will be a new international travel system based around the construction of a major tunnel through the centre of the Earth. Sophia Rimington claims it will make travelling from one side of the world to the other the matter of an afternoon. Geologists are concerned about the implications of digging a hole through the planet, while flat earthers claim it should be quite easy.
With that exclusive Prime Ministerial interview coming up later,
and our very own Patrick Bannon coming to you live from the first annual Sports Board final.
You won't want to miss a second of tonight's National Nightly News.
First tonight, after the Christmas horror caused by Mr. Snugglehugs, we have an exclusive interview with one of the victims.
Poor 7-year-old Timmy Tadlock, like so many of those affected by the Christmas bloodbath, has spent the last 3 months undergoing a series of reconstructive facial surgeries.
Last week, joyfully, he spoke for the first time since the tragedy. Tonight, he talks to us.
Before we go to the interview, however, this station would like to issue a full and frank apology for any part we may have played in the tragedy. We should never have advertised Mr. Snugglehugs. Without our publicity, the sheer scale of this tragedy, with now upwards of 8,000 casualties, might have been averted.
On behalf of the Nightly News team, we're sorry.
In future, we will do better.
Now it's over to Robin Short at the Tadlock family home. Robin?
Thank you, Megan. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Tadlock and their 7-year-old son, Timothy. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Yes, well, you're bloody lucky we're spending any time with you at all, after what you lot did. Irresponsible. I mean, whose idea was this anyway?
It's all right. Wasn't your fault. As you can see, Megan, there's still a few open wounds here. I'll tread carefully. I'm going to speak to Timmy now. Hello, Timmy. Can you see me?
Mummy, who's that lady?
It's the lady from television, Timothy. She's going to ask you a few questions.
And you be careful now, it upsets him to remember.
Don't worry, Mr. Tadlock. I wasn't the youngest ever editor of the Swinstead Middle School Inquirer for no reason. So, Timmy, can you tell us what happened to you? You had just unwrapped Mr. Snugglehugs, hadn't you? Was he under the tree?
Yes, I could smell him already. He smelled like love.
Ah, yes, that'll be the fur. It's scented with hoof.
I was so excited. I ran up to my room and gave him a big hug. He was so soft and warm, like our cat, before he got in the way of Daddy's Porsche.
Bloody cat had a death wish.
And what did Mr. Snugglehugs say to you?
He blinked his real action eyes and said, "You're my very best friend. But I sure wish Mrs. Snugglehugs was here, and she can't be, for just $89.99. And then it's a general error. 41!
And is that when he burst into flames?
Look, careful.
And then he exploded.
Oh, look, I've asked you nicely.
And am I right in saying that one of his real action eyes is now permanently embedded in your cheek?
Yes. When I took him in at night, it glows through bandages. I know it's under there, staring at me.
Yeah, some of the other children have started calling him Timmy Three Eyes. And with his glasses, that's 5.
It's too many eyes, Robin.
And what's the last thing you remember before the darkness overtook you?
He looked at me with his one eye and laughed. Laughed as he burned.
It sounds very traumatic.
Oh.
Do you have nightmares?
All right, that's quite enough of
Timmy?
you two coming in here with your camera trying to make a buck out of our suffering. I won't have it.
Mr. Tadlock, just a couple more questions. Timmy,
Marjorie.
do you think you will ever be what we can call
No, you've had your
normal
questions,
again?
and now look. Oh, you've made him cry with all 3 of his eyes.
Calm down, you're
Do you think your parents will ever really love you again?
Right, that's it. Enough. Come on, Mr.
Tadlock.
No, your poster, your favourite poster. Timmy, are you okay? Oh.
So there you have it, Megan. Just one of the many victims of an indescribable tragedy that has shaken our nation.
I'm pleading, am I not?
Thank you, Robin. Harrowing stuff.
And many questions to be answered by Sophia Remington in the coming days and months, I'd wager. How will she turn this crisis around?
So, Jeremy, what are the warning signs a consumer should look out for when they're spotting a dangerous toy?
Well, Megan, experts advise to always check for the new Advance mark, which guarantee a level of safety and quality.
Yeah, can we just get a close-up on camera 3 here? So if we take a look at this National Nightly News mug, you should see the mark just on the base of it there.
In the wake of the scandal, the government were praised for their swift response in bringing in this set of stringent checks and new products.
It certainly is good to... When we come back, our very own Patrick Bannon will be live from the Sports Board finals. Stick around, you won't want to miss it.
We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back. Oh, sorry, I'm bursting.
Are you worried about being a burden on your children? Are you scared of a long, painful decline in your final years? Of being trapped in your own body as it slowly wastes away? Or losing your grip on reality? Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Now you can take back control of your swan song at one of the Health Service's new transition centres. Come and stay for a week. Enjoy gourmet food from our world-class kitchens or collect your thoughts in our beautiful gardens. And when it's time, at the end of your stay, you'll pass on painlessly, surrounded by those you love, in comfort and luxury. Isn't that what we all deserve at the end of a life well lived? Our expert legal team will help you make all those difficult arrangements, and our aftercare team will help your dependents through the grieving process, ensuring your final wishes are carried out efficiently and compassionately, all absolutely free. Your health service, your team.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolfe. Coming up later, we'll be speaking to the Prime Ministers about their exciting new healthcare facilities, transition centres.
Nice to see they care.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. But first, we're going now to our own Patrick Bannon, who's reporting live from the finals of the new game that's gripping the nation, Sports Board. Patrick?
That's right, Megan. You join me live here from the final of the first annual Sports Board Championship. It's been a hotly contested competition so far. I think it's fair to say these two have been dancing around each other all season. First up, we have Eddie Striker. She's the more experienced of our two players today. Striker has got an accuracy of 7, a danger rating of K, and a 12-month driving ban. Striker's known for her signature move, the lanky hamster. And facing her tonight, hoping to prove himself with a career record of 12 outs, 14 finishes, and a divorce pending, it's Mr. Wingspan himself, Tommy, the Fingernail Harris. Just waiting on the ref now. The slapping ceremony is taking part. Still going on.
Striker go first.
Striker, of course, first to start as she won the trivia round earlier on by some margin.
D-Robe.
Harris, perhaps the brawn and not the brains. Stupid. Eddie Striker. Nice start there from Striker. She's determined not to let the nerves show. Not after last time. On to Mr. Harris now. Tommy. Using his arm to pick up the ball. Not a bad shot there from Harris. Back to Striker for shots number 3. All right. She's gone to sort of throwing it under her legs. Not bad if you ask me.
Was there contact? Don't know why you complaining. To Harris.
Bit of business with the ref, but it got sorted out. Back to Harris now. A ball in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Football. Move back.
I'd say that's fair, but what do I know? Oh no, and Harris is not going to be happy with that. So really not a good start there for Tommy Harris in round 1. We can only hope the round 2 treats him a bit better. But first, of course, after the argument with the ref section, it's time to change ends.
Of ends.
Now we have the ceremonial changing of the ends. And of course, now they go back to the starting positions, as that makes sense. Striker giving it large.
Second round, double. Harris.
Winter round 2 now with Harris. Okay, we seem to have some sort of streak on the pitch. Apologise if we broadcast any of that stuff. She appears to have slogans across her breasts and arse. Try and ignore all of that. Security, I'm sure we're going to take them out as soon as possible. Apologise if we broadcast any of that. As I said, we're going to get the situation resolved as soon as possible. They're trying to carry on play, but it's proving a bit difficult, and I'm struggling to follow because it's quite an eyesore. And women's body, yeah. All right, great. Okay, so back into round 2 now, and Harry's absolutely determined to close that massive gap. Eddie Striker. You know, it's just some of the tightest play I've seen ever. Harris. And was that the fitted thumb screw? We haven't seen that since the heats. What a brilliant move. Back to Striker. And we know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That is, of course, the ground sound. Excellent bit of play here on both sides of the bucket. I don't know about you at home, but I'm finding the technical mastery on display here absolutely blooming jaw-dropping. The ref has spotted something in Harris's neck or head. And Harris is having an absolute shocker. What a miserable start there for Tommy Harris. But he is a late bloomer, of course, we've always said that. And after all, it is a game of 2 halves. 4 rounds and 7 subgenres. But now, of course, it's time for the half-time show. Sponsored by Remington Smith.
On my whistle, on my whistle.
Nice piece of music here to start the half-time show. Okay, another posh protester loose on the court here. We can only apologise for that. we'll do our best to shield you from having to look directly at it, is running around here with his genitals on display for all to see. And ruining what was shaping up to be quite the dance interlude there. Now he's thrusting himself in Harris's face, security's on it, and the bucket has been knocked over! I cannot stand it when the bucket gets knocked over. Hopefully he'll get taken out now. Genitals flying around for all to see. Really, if you ask me, not Sunday morning television. And out of there, hopefully taken away, never to be seen again.
Final poses, final poses. Ball boy cannot be in the final pose.
And a lovely finish there on both sides of the bucket. I wouldn't like to call that one. And as we head into round 3, I'd love to know what's going on in these two players' heads. But unfortunately, because of science, we can't.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Not bad.
You go first. You go first.
So that ball boy's giving me the eye all day. I don't know what's going on there. Striker there, not a great start. She looks a bit flustered, I think, after all that swinging around. Back to Harris here. God, what I wouldn't give to be that ball. Am I right, ladies? Tommy Harris. And it dribbled down his arm, which is actually a really good move, because, of course, if it dribbles down his arm and goes on the floor, it's not going in the bucket. Back to striker. And striker's gone for the animal bonus there, but, of course, perhaps... And yes, Harris has counted with a tiny bell. That is wonderful play. Of course, we've seen that before. Look at her face. She is absolutely gutted. What a mug. That could have been the clincher. What a massive shame.
Harris receives possession now.
Harris to serve now. Harris, of course, undefeated by Kestrel in his last 4 bouts. So, here we go. Come on, Tommy Harris. That's all right. Not bad there. He threw it quite far away from him, which is quite a good idea. Very clever there. Perhaps a little contact, a caution from the referee, who's being, if you ask me, a little bit harsh. Ellie Striker. And she's let the nerves get to her. What the hell was that? You hate to see it, don't you? You cannot believe it. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, like, I mean, this is a mess now. I don't know what I can be doing about this. I mean, it's sort of breasts and genitals for all to see. I mean, there's only so much I can do. They're sort of everywhere, aren't they? All right, I'll try and carry on. The players are trying to carry on, but of course it's difficult because these protesters, hopefully we can get them taken off soon so we can carry on with the match. Oh, hello! Okay, something nonsense is going on here. Yes, very good. Take them away. Bloody wasters, absolute wasters. Oh, jog on!
This is the mime round.
It's an absolute bloody... Okay, and now we're going to go into the final round. And of course, as it's a Tuesday, the final round is a mime round. Who could believe it? Nice imaginary shot there from Harris. It really could go in at this point. Really high-level play here from 2 absolute juggernauts of the sport.
Hold.
The bucket getting moved back to its proper place. About time, if you ask me. She's juggling it around from her hands. Interesting. And she's put it in her mouth like as if it was an egg. And now she's and she spat it out. She did the egg spit. So a wonderful move there, quite late on.
Illegal spit.
From striker. But she's in it to win it.
Harris's ball.
On it like a car bonnet. Tommy Harris here, having a bit of beef. And he's peeling it as if it were a banana, which is an interesting move. Not sure if he hasn't had his potassium or what's going on today with Harris. And he's throwing it, and the banana was the ball! What a fantastic move there from Harris. Unfortunately, that is the end. What a pathetic, there we go, Jeremy, that is over. How can he look his 8-year-old son in the face tonight? What a lump. We just have to wait for the referee now to announce it to make sure it is all official.
Contestants in, please. And the winner of the first annual Sports Board Championship is... everyone!
Okay, the referee Agreed. Once again, a win for everyone, including me, as my 15th win in the Sports Board Championship. I'm going to be celebrating tonight with my wife and children. Another wonderful victory for me. Here come the on-site security to collect their medals, their 6th and 7th respectively. And thanks again for watching the Sports Board Championships. What more is there to say? I'm Patrick Bannon, looking forward to celebrating tonight. And all that's left to say, Jeremy, is back to you in the studio.
Patrick Bannon there at an extraordinary final.
Historic Sports Board, Jeremy.
I didn't know you were a fan.
Oh yeah, I can wrench a doubler with the best of them, I'll have you know.
I certainly wouldn't bet against you.
When we come back...
Ow!
I'll be talking live with Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement, who apparently have a big announcement you wouldn't want to miss.
That's coming up after these messages.
Do you suffer from benign prostate enlargement? Come on. I'm Tommy the Fingernail Harris, sporting legend. I've got it all. 4 world championships, 2 cars, a bidet, and an enlarged prostate gland. Your prostate is a small gland about the size of a cherry tomato, located between your penis and your wee bag. If the prostate becomes enlarged, it can put pressure on the bladder. This can cause trouble starting to pee, and it can cause laundry-based trouble between you and your she-demon of an ex-wife. So what caused this big old prostate in your bum? Well, sorry, me and the doctors, we don't know. But I can tell you, as you get older, your body changes. And that's okay. If you're worried about your swollen bum sack, book an appointment for God's sake. Procedure is easy, it's quick, and it's not gay. I'm Tommy the Fingernail Harris. Rectums, check them.
Welcome back. I am delighted to be joined by Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. Welcome to the National Nightly News, Prime Ministers.
Oh, please, it's just Julia and Peter.
We don't believe much in titles. It doesn't seem very advanced.
We're delighted to be here.
Well, firstly, I should ask how you feel about the graffiti that's been springing up across the capital. Should we be worried?
Oh, no, you definitely shouldn't be worried.
Well, not unless you've got a fatal paint allergy, anyway.
But yes, it does seem that there are still some people we haven't been able to help.
You know, whingers mostly.
People who've yet to benefit from the many advantages of the new future.
And you know, Megan, as my old mum used to say, there are some just don't know how to be happy.
We're working hard to reach these people, find out what they're angry about and how we can help. The door to my government is always open.
Someone's dripping on me.
But we didn't come here to talk about what may yet turn out to be some alternative arts project.
Which we no doubt will have funded.
When we want to talk to the nation about something far more exciting.
Yes, your office briefed us that you have an announcement to make, but they were being surprisingly secretive about it.
Let me ask you a question, Megan.
Oh, OK, it's not usually how it works, but...
What scares you? I mean, really scares you?
It's death, Pet. She's talking about death.
We're all afraid of our deaths. It's part of being human.
Sorry, are you saying that Advance have cured death?
That'll be a vote winner. Yep, that was definitely a drop there.
But while we may not have cured death, we hope we found a way to make it much less scary.
And much less painful and much less expensive. Look, which is me close-up camera,
Oh,
Pet?
sorry, yes, it's camera 4 right there.
When I was 13, me mam came and got me from school. He was to go to the hospital. Me granddad, he'd collapsed that morning, so we'd all to say our goodbyes. And I went in to see him. He were all frail and pale. And I was scared because I'd only seen him the week before, and he'd been fit as fiddle. And he said to me, Peter, he said, it's the right time. I don't ever want to be a burden to the people I love.
Was that the last time you saw him?
Nope. 3 days later, we were back home. He lived with us for 9 miserable years after that. He had to be fed with a rubber spoon. He had a commode, so he'd just take a right there in the lounge while we were watching football. He wouldn't even wait till half-time.
That sounds...
It was awful. It were awful for us, and this is the point. It were awful for him. He could see it was destroying me, man, watching him slowly fade away, and he would beg her to turn off his breathing equipment at night, but she couldn't, or she wouldn't. It were a crime, you see. And she didn't want to lose the children, as well as her old man.
No family should have to suffer like Peter's did. And now no family will have to. The health service is today opening the first of 300 new transition centres.
The transition centres will handle everything for your last days. The legal, financial, medical and emotional costs are all catered for and paid for by the government. So even the poorest citizen gets to pass on with dignity when they choose.
And that choice is important.
Yes.
This is a service only for people who choose it. For people who feel they've run their course and don't want to burden themselves or their families with a slow, long, humiliating decline into an
This microphone pack has just given me an electric shock!
Are you okay?
I don't know, I think I'm frightened.
Still on the air, Peter?
Oh, yes, sorry, my apologies all.
Are you not worried that this new system might be open to abuse?
In what way?
Sorry, I got zapped again. Can I get a little bit of help here, please?
That the older generation might feel somewhat...
Yeah. One were massive. Right, no, this off.
The older generation might feel somewhat coerced.
Coerced into spending their final days eating gourmet food and drinking fine wine and luxury spas and gardens.
Look, I am perfectly capable of... Oh, my grandmother with a rusty...
Please watch your language.
Go get yourself sorted out.
Right.
We're launching a government information film tonight. It should tell your viewers everything they need to know.
You really do move at a breathless pace. It's hard to believe you've yet to be in office a year.
Oh, Megan, we're only getting started.
And on that note, thank you both so much for being here. Jeremy.
Right, yes, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank yous go out to our guests. Congratulations to all the winners at the Sports Board final, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the same time. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. If you can, have a peaceful night.
From the iconic A2 stainless steel posi-drive wood screw to the M1 2mm slotted countersunk screw, the joy of screws is your key to a world of sticky fixings. Start collecting today and celebrate the nation's most well-known and best-loved pieces of hardware with your copy of The Joy of Screws. Every week, you'll add another exclusive fastener to your collection, like the flathead self-flanging bump screw, the 4mm Hexaflex mushroom bolt, the self-locking long-life round-head roofing tack, and that's only the beginning. The Pan Phillips slotted head washer washing nut, the M25 3mm finishing pin, the cast iron hexagonal fixing screw, and many more. Every week, alongside your ironmongery, you'll get this in-depth companion magazine, charting the highs and lows of DIY history. From the Canterbury nut shortage to the socket screw riots of 29, this detailed guide will bring to life some of your favourite metalworking moments. Start your collection today and we'll send you the first 8 editions with no postage or packing. That's right, no postage, no packing. Plus you'll also receive this exclusive little bit of drill bit absolutely free. So, what are you waiting for? Start collecting today. With week 10 you'll receive this screwdriver handle, The Joy of Screws, the only complete collection of real, authentic, genuine reproduction screw replicas. Collection is for display purposes only. The items are ornamental replicas and not for use with wood, metal, masonry or any other physical surface. Terms and conditions apply. See issue 42 details.